Hey guys, welcome to KM Reviews. I am Niddleman. Even though this review is coming about a week late, this is still going to be a spoiler-free review for the movie Logan. Now, I'm going to get my review rating out of the way right away, and if you want to stick around and find out why I gave it that rating, go ahead and do so. But I'm going to give this movie marriage material. Yes, that is my highest rating. Find out why. Okay guys, I could make an hour-long review of why I love every aspect to this movie, but I'm going to try to condense it down into a few minutes. It's going to be a whole task on its own. Now again, just real quick, I'm sorry if you watch my reviews and they've been coming out kind of late. I've been really busy with school. I'm in my last class doing my bachelor's degree. I got family stuff. I'm auditioning, pursuing acting myself, etc. So I'm sorry. But needless to say, I got a Kong review coming today too, so stick around for that as well. Anyways, let's hop into this review. Let's not delay any longer. Now, as far as the plot goes, I'm really, even though if you haven't watched it yet, it's been a week, what the hell is wrong with you? Go fucking see the movie. I'm still going to keep the plot very vague, just in case you haven't seen it, because going into it, watching the trailer, you don't really know a whole lot about the plot. Why does it look like Logan doesn't have his powers as much as usual? What's the deal with, why is Patrick Stewart in this thing looking all crazy? Who's this girl with these two claws? I'm not going to really go too in-depth with it. All you need to know about the plot is that it's its own standalone Logan Wolverine movie. It really doesn't directly follow any of the other X-Men movies. It's its own standalone thing. Also, you have this girl with somewhat similar powers to Logan, and some people are chasing her, and him and Patrick Stewart are trying to protect her. That's all I'm going to say about the plot, but trust me, it's awesome. Now, the biggest pro I'm going to give this movie is the tone. I really love the rated R, dark, gritty, depressing, sad, intense tone to this movie, because most X-Men movies, especially the first one, the second one, hell, all of them are really usually very colorful, and even though movies like X-Men Days of Future Past have some dark tones to them, they're mostly Disney-fied, uplift, like happy, entertaining type of movies. This movie is more like No Country for Old Men or some dark western, It's a very different, tonally dark, there will be blood type of movie. You know what I mean? This is not going to be your Wolverine where he's slicing through people and his claws are still clean. This is the kind where just launching his claws out of his hands, there's going to be fucking blood because they're fucking steel claws coming out of his hand. This movie does it a lot more realistic, a lot more gritty. And that is a good thing because they do it in a good way. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm so sick of dark movies, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Trust me. This movie is awesome. And if you have family members that you've wanted to get into these X-Men movies and maybe they haven't, this is the movie to take them to if they're adults. Don't take freaking little kids to this. That's stupid. But, I brought my dad to this movie, for example, and he's not really, he doesn't watch all the other X-Men movies, but he was able to watch this one on its own. It's not like he's going, what's going on? Anybody can watch this movie as its own standalone movie, and I really appreciate that. Also, as far as the acting goes, Hugh Jackman, my man. Patrick Stewart, my man. Everybody in this movie, my man, my woman. You're all fucking awesome. Everybody in this movie does such a good job. Wolverine, Logan, Hugh Jackman, man. Let me tell you, he does something so well with his eyes where you can just see the weight of the world, of all the years of his history of being alive for so fucking long and everything terrible always happening to him. It's just weighing down on him. You can see it in his face. You can see it in his hair. You can see it in the way his powers manifest. It's just, everything is just so, he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. I'm so sick of all this bullshit. And can you blame him? I mean, the guy goes through a lot of shit. Then you got Patrick Stewart, who in real life, he's very well there, and everything. But in this movie, he plays a very old man. I think they said he's like 90 years old or something in this movie. And he definitely portrays that, He's not all together. He's definitely going through some issues himself that I'm not going to spoil. But the point is, these two have been a team since day one of, the first X-Men movie. And they've rode this train of X-Men movies together. And this is such a good final send-off, standalone, Logan, Patrick Stewart movie. You know what I'm saying? Just the acting's phenomenal. The little girl, too. She could do her own standalone movie if she wants. The action is badass. It's like Hit Girl from Kick-Ass. She holds her own next to these two phenomenal actors. And I don't is this her first movie? I don't fucking know. But she does awesome, and she, whatever. And the bad guys, they are really on the back burner of this movie, and that's all they need to be. They're not Apocalypse. They're not Magneto. They're just some dudes that are missing body parts with some robotic limbs. I think they call them Reavers or something. Why they're chasing her, you have to watch the movie to find out. Why they're protecting her, Logan and stuff, you have to find out. But anyways, they play their role in this movie. They're just there to kind of move the story along. And I can see some people not liking the villains in this movie, but honestly, I thought they played their role perfectly. I thought their charisma was good. The actor looked a little bit too much like Malfoy from Harry Potter for my taste, but I still liked him in this movie. And I thought it was nice having a villain that wasn't some fucking huge ass superhero. He was just a dude chasing them with a robot hand, you know what I mean? It's not like Apocalypse that's just so godly and you're like, why doesn't he just fucking kill everybody? This guy, it's more realistic. Their encounters seem realistic with how hard they are to fight on both sides. And anyways, I'm blabbing on. Acting's good. There you go. The action in this movie, oh my god, the action in this movie is so good. Oh my god. Granted, Wolverine has always been a badass. He's always has these steel claws, gets in these fights, whatever. But this movie, is the first fight in this movie is the first time you really get the gravity of what the effects would be of having big fucking metal claws slicing at people. And him too, the injuries he gets in this movie when he does certain fight sequences, it's just... it feels intense. It feels like you're there. You're like, holy shit. Okay, maybe I don't want to be Wolverine. Because, we all want to be fucking Wolverine with claws in our hands. After watching this, I don't know if I'd want to be Wolverine. It looks like he goes through a lot of pain. And they never really showed it as much in this movie. As much as this movie. And the people that go against him, oh my god. Dude, this movie's just fucking violent and intense. And you get the gravity of it. And again, I could go on and on about positives of this movie, but I gotta somewhat condense it. And even though this movie got my best rating, it's not a perfect movie. No movie is perfect. You can always nitpick at something. If I had to nitpick at this movie, I would have to say, without spoiling anything, I guess, is there was some ambiguity of what led them to this point in this movie, of what happened to all the other X-Men. They don't really clearly define it. They kind of do. It's hard to talk about without spoiling anything. But I think they could have been a little bit more clear of why they're at this point of such harshness situations, But at the same time, I kind of like that they didn't explain it. I kind of liked that they left it as ambiguous as it was and just a little bit of explanation for you to interpret in your own mind. The director feels that we are smart enough to kind of figure it out. And I think we did, but it's, again, spoiler-free. You'll see what I mean. The other thing is, I think they could have done a little bit better job at explaining why Logan's powers are slowing down. Oh, he's old man Logan. Well, he was old man Logan in the first X-Men movie. He was born, before the fucking Civil War or something? I mean, he's always been old man Logan. It's just he has such healing powers. You don't really know how old he is. And he's always kind of stayed young at a certain point. So why in this movie is he aging? Why is his power slowing down? You see the scene in the trailer where he's putting on his shirt and it's like, ow. And I think they could have done a little bit. I think they did kind of explain it. Maybe I missed it, but I feel like they didn't do a good enough job explaining why his powers are slowing down so much. I think. Maybe I need to see it again. But honestly, those are the biggest nitpicks in the fucking world. They're so minuscule because this movie is so well put together, guys. You need to go see this movie. Not once, not twice. Go see it 100 times, okay? Realistically, maybe 101. But anyways, that's my review. Good everything, little minor nitpicks. Overall, what did you guys think of this movie? I know it's late, so let me know what you thought of it. Comment below, let me know. Also remember, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, pretty much everything at Niddleman. Stay tuned for my Kong review if you can handle it. Go.